Friday Night Arcade is on the air. This week we're going to take a quick look at what I like to call levels from heaven, specifically for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. These are levels that every time you play the game, you look forward to playing that particular level. There's just something special about it. Maybe it's the graphics, maybe it's the music, or perhaps it's just the right balance between fun and challenging to where no matter what, you can't wait to play that particular level, even if you played it a dozen times before. The first level that immediately comes to mind is the Death Star battle from Super Star Wars. I've talked about these games before, and the Super Nintendo Star Wars trilogy is notorious for extreme difficulty, but if you can somehow make it through this punishing video game experience, or at least know the cheat codes, you get rewarded with one of the funnest levels I can ever remember playing. The Star Wars movies easily lend themselves to video game interpretation, but up until this point, the Death Star battle had never really been so perfectly represented in video game form. You take control of Luke in the X-Wing and just have to go around shooting TIE fighters and towers, all the while John Williams' triumphant score is blasting in the background. Once you complete that, you get to do the trench run, complete with Obi-Wan's words of wisdom.
Use the Force, Luke.
Just perfect. If you love the minecart chase in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Minecart Carnage in World 2 of Donkey Kong Country is the level for you. This level fits like a glove today, just like it did back in 1994. It features harrowing music and just the right mix of challenge and fun. You take control of Diddy or Donkey Kong, and neither makes a difference in jumping. It just basically gives you a chance to take damage one time before dying. I use Diddy Kong though, so he'll sit in the front, otherwise he can't see what the heck's going on. Once you get in the minecart, it becomes a rail situation and you have no control over speed or braking. Yet, for some reason I always held down right on the D-pad in this level. All you can do here is jump. Along the way you'll find bonuses and bananas as well as obstacles like broken tracks, damaged minecarts, and the enemies all have minecarts of their own. Which bad guys volunteered for this kamikaze mission? This level has a few tricks up its sleeve, such as bananas that you have to wait until just the last second before jumping to get, and the ending is a frenzied finish of down tracks, broken minecars, and just when you think you've made it to the exit, one last guy shows up to try to take you down. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time. Konami's masterpiece takes you on a whirlwind through space and time in search of Shredder and his evil cohorts. This game is the gold standard for 16-bit two-player beat-em-ups, and pretty much every level is a little slice of heaven as it is. However, one level stands out as particularly memorable. Neon Knight Rider sends the Turtles hurtling into the year 2020, complete with hoverboard mayhem set against the backdrop of a gorgeous futuristic nighttime skyline. This level shows off the Super NES Mode 7 graphical capabilities, and its only crime is being a little on the short side. But just when you think you're finished, Krang shows up to the party for an epic boss showdown. Hey, he's right there, just kill him, kill him! The Lawnmower Man. Yeah, we all remember the Lawnmower Man for Super Nintendo, right? Weird sci-fi movie with Jeff Fahey and Pierce Brosnan that they made into a super awesome beloved 16-bit game, right? So, a good chunk of this game was a pretty uninspired 2D side-scroller. It's a bit of a turd, but to keep with the story of the film, which centers around virtual reality, they mixed in some of these 3D levels. At the time, this was pretty impressive to look at, even if they were mostly short and nothing really happens. But for one level, they actually got off their butts and managed to throw together a pretty awesome little mix. It's too bad the whole game wasn't like this. The colors are awesome and the music is pretty trippy too. This next level is from Super Castlevania 4. Just like with Turtles in Time, this game is so good that really just about any of the levels could be a little slice from heaven. However, the one that most comes to mind is level 4-3. After the creative use of Mode 7 in the previous level, where you have to hang by your whip while the whole room rotates, they toss you into an entire room that's spinning like the inside of a dryer. Seriously, who's the architect that Dracula keeps hiring to build all his castles? The whole background is a dizzying display as the room spins. I always thought that color of blue was neat, and the lighting effect where it dims a little towards the back is pretty cool. The level is brisk and urges you along with falling platforms chasing you as you go while skeletons pop out of the wall. It suffers just a bit from slowdown as it's really pushing the hardware limits, but it's still a lot of fun to play through and look at. Rounding out the list this week is the Hoth battle in Super Empire Strikes Back. This time they were nice enough to put the best level near the beginning of the game, and it's a good thing too because otherwise nobody would have probably seen it. This time they used Mode 7 to simulate taking down the AT-AT walkers with the tow cables, and just like in the Death Star run, this is just ridiculously good fun to play. They also mixed it up a bit by adding in some of these little berms and hills that you have to maneuver over with your ship. I'm not sure how they pulled that off, but it looks cool. Well, that's all for now. What are some levels that I'm missing here? What are some of your favorite levels of all time, from Super Nintendo or any other console? Let me know in the comments below, and I'd like to feature them in an upcoming video at some point. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.